The lieutenant governor sent his regrets. And
He knew he's not a candidate.
He found out he wasn't a candidate, that's right. And it's really a shame he didn't come, because there's been really a lot of famous twosomes throughout history. Laurel and Hardy, Martin and Lewis, Ferranti and Teicher. And here we have Governor Thompson, Lieutenant Governor George Ryan, the Andy of Mayberry, and the Barney Fife of Springfield. And now they've acquired Opie.
Keep talking, Floyd.
To the Honorable Walter Dudycz, State Senator. Walter, with regret, I must miss your roast tonight, especially with all the good lines I've been rehearsing. I found that my schedule was as full as the Chicago GOP Senate caucus, and with just as many conflicts. It was a lucky day for us when you thought the GOP sign said COP. Warm regards, George Ryan. Besides, you're not a candidate. Our next roaster is a recent convert to the True Party, James O'Grady, candidate for sheriff of Cook County.
Thank you very much. I just got reminded by the governor that it's 9:15. And I'll make this as fast as I can, Governor.
Okay.
But before I move on any faster than I should, I want to say hello to 3 doctors out there. Dr. Gorney, Dr. Stolarski, and Dr. Chandra. One takes care of my wife, one takes care of my children, and one pays me on the golf course.
Which ones?
I'm not going to tell you which ones. I didn't want to roast Waller tonight because it's difficult to roast a man of stature and renown and power. So I decided to say some very nice things about Waller. I find it easier to say nice things about a person than I do to roast him. I've got a problem, however, and I just couldn't think of anything nice to say about Waller tonight. Waller grew up in a very tough neighborhood in Chicago, and I talked to some of his friends, some of his childhood friends, and they were most informative. I can't repeat everything they said to me, but they were really informative. I had a hard time finding some of them. They're scattered throughout the country, some in California, some in New York, some still in Illinois. But it's tough trying to talk to a guy in Sing Sing or a guy down in Statesville or a guy up in San Quentin. He really had a great group of friends. He was a real active child, and he blossomed into a fine athlete in high school. He majored in every sport. He lettered in every sport in high school except swimming. He went out for the swim team, but he couldn't make it. He just couldn't keep his mouth shut long enough. When Waller ran for the Senate, he had a problem with name recognition. But about a year with a tutor, he realized that he could recognize his name down there. So we're happy about that. And it took a great deal of courage and determination for him to decide to go to Springfield. It was tough trying to find his way down there. Somebody told him it'd be better taking I-55 than Harlem Avenue.
You're right. You're right.
Tom Wolfe, the author, once said about someone that he is his own worst enemy. I'm afraid it's worse than that with Waller. He's his own best friend. They were talking about the farm issues before, and I don't know if Neil Hartigan got in on this, but Waller seemed to be a little out of touch, Governor, on those farm issues. He thought that Farm Aid was a drink you made with 2 quarts of water and a packet of fertilizer. Maybe that's why he went for Neil's bill. I don't know. As you know, Waller was an outstanding detective with the police department. I remember him solving a celebrated case where the defender was overly aggressive when Waller had to arrest him. After quite a tussle, Waller told the guy, "If you continue to fight with me, I'm going to bite your head off." That was one of his favorite expressions. And the guy told Waller, "If you bite my head off, you're going to have more brains in your belly than you got in your head." And he was right. Waller was sent to investigate a burglary at the Sears store. As he was going up the escalator, there was a power failure. Waller was stranded on the escalator for 2 hours before his partner went up and told him to walk down with him.
Oh, jeez.
When Waller was a patrolman, he was detailed to a parade on Division Street. One of the women in the group there, the spectators, hollered at Waller. She says, "Officer, could you get out of my way? You're blocking my vision." He said, "I'm sorry, ma'am. I didn't know you were having a vision." Waller called the office one day when I was the chief of detectives. He said, "I want to speak to the guy in charge." My secretary asked, "Do you mean O'Grady?" Waller says, "Yeah, that must be the guy. I know his name begins with a 0. I really do remember something nice to say about Waller.
Oh, jeez.
And in the words of the famous comedian Jackie Gleason, Waller, you're the greatest.
Thank you very much. Thank you.